There you go. All right. Welcome. It's about that time. What's happening? It's Nazi from the Pulse of New Hampshire. This is easily one of my favorite subjects and my favorite talk subjects, Well Adjusted, with Dr. Sam from Infinite Health Family Chiropractic. Now, if you're not sure who Dr. Sam is, well, he established Infinite Health Family Chiropractic in order to create health and wellness for his community in which he lives and works, also to educate individuals on the value of a chiropractic lifestyle. This is something that I believe in and I live, and I've gone to Dr. Sam for years. Welcome, Dr. Sam. How are you today?
I'm near perfect as usual, Dr. Nazi.
I'm still working on my PhD. I'm still working on it. I will tell you personally, I've been going to Dr. Sam for years, and my son, who's now 11, has been adjusted since birth with Dr. Sam. And we're now at the point where if it's been 2 weeks, my son says, hey, wait a minute, isn't this the week we go and check out, we get adjusted? Before we get into today's topic, you adjust him a little bit differently. What is the activator? How does that work? How does the activator work differently than your hands?
Well, the activator is just a specific device that contacts. It has a small tip where it contacts the segment specifically, and it's just a different format. It works primarily on speed. Really affects the neurology because of the way it's adjusting. It's just another tool for someone who doesn't feel comfortable with the quote unquote cracking or popping sounds or the hands-on osseous bone moving adjustments. And for children, they don't need as much force anyway. So it is definitely something that he wants. And I appreciate you saying that, because I remember when you came in, you said to me, he goes, Shawn Michael asked to come in. And I was like, that's great when a kid understands the importance of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He understands it. And plus he likes it because in his words, he says he feels great and relaxed afterwards, which I think is very important. I remember when he was a baby, when he was just a few weeks old, you adjusted him with your fingertips. Yes. I mean, it was amazing.
Why? And that leads into, being well adjusted, that's the name of the show. And what we are, trying to accommodate here is the community being understanding of why they should be going to a chiropractor from any age. And, I moved into the heart of Concord in 126 Loudon Road because I felt that I'd have more reach. However, the gentleman that we have coming on the show today, Dr. Dean DePice, is a mentor of mine. He is actually in Pennsylvania. He has TLC Chiropractic in Pennsylvania. And he is also a lecturer, worldwide, nationwide. And he started an organization called TLC for super teams, and meaning team life conditioning, and letting us understand the balances in our life. And he's going to be talking a little bit about the imbalance that we have in our society and the thought processes of health and why it's so important. So for some people, this may be controversial in the way he approaches it, but really understanding where health is coming from and why chiropractic is an important part of that, and why the communities worldwide should be going to at least get checked and see what's going on. And I am under the TLC umbrella in the sense that we have 28 other phenomenal coaches that help to educate, not only, go down to a chiropractic school and teach kids how to be better chiropractors, but, helping those peers of ours out there to become better chiropractors in servicing humankind. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Dr. Dean from TLC Chiropractic, and have him just talk a little bit about what he does, where he's at, when he graduated, and what qualifies him for this type of things that are going on.
And through the magic of television, welcome Dr. Dean mysteriously appears on cue. Welcome to the show, Dr. Dean.
Thank you.
So take it away.
Go ahead. Well, do you guys want to ask a question, or would you like me to jump into subject?
You can actually, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take the lead. We have 20 minutes or a little less now. I'd just like you to take the lead and sort of we talked a little bit about what you were going to speak about, and as
Mhm.
questions come up, I'll jump in and sort of lead if there's anything that may be of interest to people.
Sure, sure. Well, I was raised in a family that very much believed in an incredibly hard work ethic. And one of my relatives or uncles in my family founded Riverside General Hospital in Secaucus, New Jersey. He was one of the, I believe, 7 co-founders of it. Medicine and chiropractic have run in my family a long time. As I was maturing my own academics, it became clear to me that chiropractic provoked logic. And much of our culture runs countercurrent to logic. So it was natural that I was drawn more towards chiropractic than the allopathy or soothing of sufferings of medicine. Medicine's necessary. If not for medicine, my own son wouldn't be alive today. But medicine addresses tragedy intervention and is almost countercurrent to health care. And chiropractic cares for health. So it's very logical. And in pursuing chiropractic, living chiropractic, being a practicing chiropractor, it became evident to me that other things were brought to the table. And chiropractic stirs up a lot of things, particularly in our latest past 18 months of understanding how our surroundings and our environment works. Educated, healthy, and confident people are harder to govern. Those that want to control the masses don't want a people, a following, a community that is educated, healthy, and confident. Those that want to control the masses want people uneducated, so they're not logical, not wise, not able to read, not able to think for themselves. They are not healthy, so therefore they are constantly dependent upon interventions from outside in that cost a lot of money and have an emotional grab to them. And they're not confident, therefore they won't argue or fight or stand for or picket or rally against that which they understand to be wrong from their education or knowledge. So educated, healthy, and confident people are harder to govern. Chiropractic seeks to make people educated because the principles that we teach are more important than the practice. It seeks to make people healthy, obviously, because a health initiative in the body comes from allowing the body to function its best. No doctor can cause healthiness. No doctor can cause health, right? Only the body can provoke health. Even a great plastic surgeon who sutures a piece of flesh together, ultimately, if the person's not alive, the flesh doesn't heal. If the person's alive, the flesh heals. So the sutures are merely a mechanism to bring the two ends of the skin together, but the healing is from the host. The healing's from the person. So a healthy person in chiropractic is one who's expressing their health better, becomes someone who's also confident. And so what became clear to me in chiropractic is that I was getting to practice in a way that helped people be educated, healthy, and confident. And therefore, the world around us becomes less demanding of solutions from outside in, shiny objects and temptations to do things that just lead to comfort. So chiropractic is about getting the body to speak out. Chiropractic is about getting the body to express itself. I don't really know Nazi. I met him today, but my observations are he takes a fancy towards helping people express things. He himself is very expressive. He's even in personality, he's very artistic, right? So people expressing things is an act of health. And in chiropractic, we remove subluxation so that the body's more healthy. So to me, chiropractic is just logical. And to pursue chiropractic means you're intelligent, right? People who are intelligent cost the country less money. HMO companies have produced many different documented studies to try and understand where are they spending most of their money. And virtually every time they do an assessment to profile people under chiropractic care, they find out that cross sections of civilization under chiropractic care cost them less money. They utilize less medications. They end up in the hospital less times. When they're in the hospital, they're there for less days. So people under chiropractic care are in the highest levels of intellect. They are in the highest levels of functionality. They are in the least demanding levels of stresses upon our civilization. But we live in a culture where they understand that there's no money in healthy people. All right. There's no money in dead people. The money's in the middle, people that are breathing, but in a pretty putrefied state of life, whether it's, that their blood pressure's off or their body weight isn't right. When people are in peril, they tend to produce movement of the financial engines that drive the mega wealthy. So we live in a culture where chiropractic is a challenge to those who want to control the masses, because chiropractic helps the masses become educated, healthy, and confident. And most of the mechanisms that run our world help people become dumb, less confident, and less healthy. So there's a big challenge in all of this. In fact, you guys are in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is one of the most epic states in terms of passing mandate that if someone is considered for spinal surgery and not first recommended to see a chiropractor, then that process is stopped. It's not allowed. All right. I think New Hampshire also has the requirement that no one's allowed to end up in the pipelines of OxyContin recommendations if they have not first tried conservative means of care. So you guys in New Hampshire, you're pretty progressive in all of that. But chiropractic deals with removing interference to the nervous system so that which is most ideal in the body can express itself. I am a big proponent of being logical, and if you're logical, you ask questions. If you're logical, you don't just go along with what Big Brother says. So, but we have a challenge in our culture, right? There is a absolute trail of breadcrumbs you can follow towards how our government is helping people become less well-read, less able to read, less able to stand up for themselves, less able to fight, and ultimately becoming more drug dependent and outside in care dependent than ever before. So I fancy research that I trust Dr. Sam has probably shared on this line somewhere along the lines. It's very important to look at the greatest researchers of our time, researchers that are not doing research that is funded by drug companies. All right. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find that. And when you do read research, it's critically important to note the names of the individuals, where they work, what their backgrounds are, and especially where the funding is for the research being done, and what the postulates were at the beginning of the research, because usually the research is done in an effort to prove what somebody already believes. It's not in order to discover that which might shift how someone believes things, right? So, and that's why when research starts producing outcomes that the funder of the initiative doesn't like, they throw that research away and they start a new one. But in any case, the research I was going to talk about was produced from Duke University from a researcher named Ralph Keeney. And it was his initiative to try and understand, how does decision-making affect the outcomes of a civilization? And one of the things he stumbled upon in our country, where we talk about how the leading cause of death is cancer or the leading cause of death is heart disease, he discovered the number one cause of death in the world is neither of those. And in this country, we were able to prove that it is poorly made choices. So when people make dumb choices, they end up in harm's way, whether it's a traffic light or smoking a cigarette, to things like choosing to stay on a blood pressure medication rather than arguing with your doctors constantly. How do I get off of this? What do I need to do? What are the ways I need to exercise? What are the foods I should get rid of? If we constantly become more educated, we understand research like in Germany, where they got 24,000 people to stop smoking, to eat more healthy, to exercise 30 minutes a day, and to idealize their body weight to some percentage. And they found that, I believe it was 83% of all adult onset diabetics got off insulin.
Yeah.
So if you look at things like that, that would mean you would need a government that wants to get people more educated. You would need a government that wants people to fight with their doctors to get off their meds. But that would mean you'd have the requirement that you'd have a government full of people who have absolutely no financial connection in any way, overt or covert, linked to their own pockets, based upon how those agencies educate the public. We don't have that here. So I was brought here to talk about chiropractic, and you might say, wow, he's talking about a lot of things other than chiropractic. No, this is chiropractic, because chiropractic understands the number one premise. This is what I'd like to leave you guys with today. The power that heals the body is the power that made your body. Whatever you believe that is. I don't care what your theology is, and what your particular position is on evolution or creation. There's a power. That's undeniable. There's no scientist that would stand beside you if you deny there's not intelligence in your body. There is a power in your body. So the power that made your body is the power that heals your body. It happens no other way. And so if you're practicing healthcare, you're not someone trying to relieve symptoms or suture skin together. You are someone who's trying to get someone who's reasonably healthy to be more healthy. And you do that by accessing higher connection and expression of that power. All right. Chiropractic does that. People adjusted are better off, whatever they're dealing with, than people not adjusted.
That's amazing. Dr. Sam, just to hear him say that, how does that make you feel, knowing that you're contributing to people's health? Also, you're making people smarter. How does that make you feel? I mean, to know that you're part of that.
He brought up a lot of things. People would argue that, they are educated or they are scientific. However, if you look at the tenets of philosophy, logic is one of those tenets. And in the philosophical tenets, people say, well, you're philosophical, you're not scientific. I go, well, science is one of the tenets of philosophy, so you can't have one without the other. And in knowing when he's speaking, he's bringing up these points for people to say, hey, he's making me angry. I'm educated. I know what I'm talking about. I'm well-read. The question is, in science, you never stop questioning. You always are questioning, even if something is quote unquote proven, and there are certain laws of life that you can't change. Okay. Like the law of gravity is there. Okay. But science by its nature questions. And if we stop questioning, and we stop attempting to learn how to take better care of ourselves, then it makes me feel like, hey, why would you give the responsibility to somebody else? And that's the key. What we're trying to do is empower people and engage people to embrace themselves and take responsibility for their own health. And one of the challenges there is that people don't want to take that responsibility. They want to give it away to people. So in that form, when they give it away to people, they're letting go of saying, okay, here, you control the way I'm doing things. And in that sense, they're already stopping their education of working on it, and working on their body. And it's not easy. If the old saying, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Right. Well, staying healthy is not always easy. I mean, Nazi, how often have you gone through the workout, roller coaster, where you go in, you stop, and you work out, and then you have to work through injuries and things of that nature? How many of us go on the yo-yo diets rather than learning the actual aspects of eating healthy? How many of us don't take care of our nervous systems the way they're supposed to be through chiropractic in order for our bodies to function better? It's a multi-task approach, or a multi-procedural approach to staying healthy, and it doesn't mean that, the medical field is wrong. Someone will take this and say, hey, like Dr. Dean said at the very beginning, his child would not have been born or would not have survived if it wasn't for the intervention of the medical field. And that's important.
It is. Now we have 30 seconds left. So do you want to, let's wrap it up with a final thought here.
Okay. Well, the final thought for me is think for yourself. Make sure that you come in and make sure that you visit people like Dr. Dean in Philadelphia and think for yourself and become educated about what you're going to do. And then give us a call at the office and see us at Infinite Health, and we'll help you along that path and journey.
Excellent. Dr. Dean, thank you so much for joining us today. See you
Cool.
next time. Well adjusted on the Pulse of New Hampshire.